Little throwback on what previously happened on the Honda. We got the knock sensor in the mail, so installed that in the engine. We drained the engine oil to inspect the oil sump. Yeah, that could have gone a little bit more smoothly, but that's on me. Anyway, loosened a lot of screws and ta-da! Accomplishment. Well, you might be thinking, why did you do that? Why was it necessary? Well, let me explain it to y'all. So it's like this. The reason why my engine broke down is because all the oil in the engine was in one side of the engine bay when the previous owner took a turn. So we need a baffle plate inside this oil sump pan. Other than that, we checked up on the spark plugs, which were also not in the best condition, as you can see. And we took off the valve cover to check if we can already see like something off with the timing. Which was the case because this and these do not match each other. But we cannot do the timing at the moment because we don't have the crankshaft pulley tool, but I ordered that, so we're just waiting for that to come in the mail. But in the meantime, we have no time to lose. We are going to clean the valve cover because that looks very shitty as well. The preparation work for this is degreasing everything, making sure the sensors are off the valve cover, and then it's just a matter of getting the paint off. Degreasing is a #1 key in a project like this. So that basically means after every step you did, you're gonna have to degrease. Next up are these sensors. You just remove them with a 10mm socket, and I think these are called the camshaft sensors, if I'm not wrong. And to get rid of the biggest pieces of paint, we're gonna sand it down a little bit and then we're gonna sandblast it, which gives the best and the cleanest results and also the best surface to put the new paint on. And not to be forgotten, it's super satisfying to watch this. And these are the end results. Look how crispy clean that is. That is something my sanding machine could have never do. But the process goes on, there's no stopping there, so now we're going to remove the spark plug tube seals on like the most practical way, and of course the valve cover gasket. To make sure no sandblasting sand gets left behind, because that would be dangerous for the engine, we're using air pressure to get in between like all the corners and edges that we have no access to, and then we get over it with pressured water and the greaser to make sure that everything is just squeaky clean. And then the best, quickest and easiest way to dry this is with this fire thingy. Yeah. And then it's time to be painted. Originally, this is crimp paint, so that's what I ordered. And this paint is designed for specific jobs like this. You apply 3 layers of this paint and then you go over it with a heat gun and then the crimp effect shows up. So we left the paint to dry, and this is the end result at the moment. We have a few runners here and there, so we're going to probably sand that down a little bit. We're fixing our mistakes. So remember how I previously talked about me not having the crankshaft pulley tool? Well, it's in the mail now, so we can go on with the timing of the engine. So let's hope we can fix something today, and if it's not today, it's gonna be tomorrow, and then you're gonna have to come back to another video episode. Yeah. I'm also going to show you in a minute the valve cover. It is not what it was supposed to be, but we're fixing things because it was just a lack of knowledge, I suppose. Anyhow, the timing. It's a must to have this tool, I think, because everything went so smoothly now. And if I tell you that previously, if we tried to loosen up this bolt without this tool, we went to hell and back. And I am not lying, y'all. So yeah, loosened up that, which was already the accomplishment of the day, because if we weren't able to loosen up this bolt, the video would have ended right here.
Tell me how long, Lou. Gimme.
So with a little shimmy and a lot of laughter, we were able to get this thing off. So next up is removing the timing cover. This is just protection for the timing chain. So we're gonna have to remove the idler pulley, and then we're gonna have to remove the 10mm screws as well, all around the timing cover. This is a 14, and yeah, other stuff you probably don't really care about.
And 2 hexes.
And yeah, these 2 guys. With removing this, we heard that the bearing was rolling, which is not a good thing. We noticed that, and that actually means I need to buy a new one. I will go bankrupt, but that's something I knew before I bought 4 cars. Now it's just a reality. Removing all the bolts I previously showed you from the timing chain cover, really easy job to do, and then you have to push it like outwards because the sealant keeps it together, and that's it. So yeah, there you go. Now you know a little bit more about what we're actually doing, because maybe I am not explaining it enough.
Yes.
What the fuck happened to that? This is the sensoring, and maybe there could be a problem with this as well, with the placement of this, because you could install this like inside out, but as I'm seeing right here, I do not see a lot of things you can do wrong with this. But Facebook forums told me that this could be an issue because you could place it inside out. Don't know how this actually works, but the timing is still off, so we're gonna first look at the timing. Well, just for the record, it would be a shame that this little piece could be the entire problem of the engine, which is not the case, I think, but that is the thing I I thought at first that this was the entire problem of the engine. Well, glad to know it is not. But I don't know if you can install this wrong. So imagine if I put this back in the car and I put it backwards because I didn't know how to place it. Yeah, that would be a typical me thing. Hope that doesn't happen. So next up, the plan now is to loosen up the timing chain tensioner, that thing. So the timing chain comes loose and we can like fixate it where it has to be fixated and where we can solve the issue to this car. So hopefully I will soon drive this car around on the roads. But that is when we still didn't look at all the rust underneath. Surprise, bitch! This is the timing chain tensioner, and the small piece is pushed out with oil pressure and then it tensions this. And now we can start on the real deal. The camshaft bridges need to come loose, but we're going to try to get around that. So we thought we were going to be able to align all the marks without getting the camshafts off. That didn't work out, so we thought we saved like around 30 minutes of work to just do the 30 minutes of work anyway. The things you learn. But you'll see in a minute how it actually has to be done, but I think it's important to put the fails in it as well so you don't make the same mistakes if you have an S2K. To loosen the camshafts, we have to work spirally. First, work from the bottom right to the top left, because if you don't do that, they can break because they are so hard that they become fragile. And then when you checked everything and everything is properly aligned, you can tighten the screw back into this gear, and then you have to tighten it to 49 Newton because in engines it's very important to get that right. And as I said, it's basically the same for everything inside the engine, the same here. This is a part of the oil pump and it has to be tightened to 12 Newton. And then we are back with the camshaft. When tightening the camshaft, it is important to work from the inside out in a spiral shape once again and turn each screw a quarter turn just to prevent it from breaking it. We are now going to turn the crankshaft 2 revolutions because each piston has then endured its working stroke. And then you know for sure that there are no valves against the pistons, plus we have to turn revolutions anyway because the crankshaft does 2 revolutions in relation to the camshaft and otherwise it will not be equal with the markings. This process must go smoothly and may not make any strange noise. And then this is what the markings on the timing looks like. This looks very even. I think this is 100% correct. So let's hope and pray that it will be fine, because if you compare it to the beginning, if you can still remember, I'll show you a picture right here. There is quite some difference in the markings. So I'm happy about the results already.
Alright, since this car is from 2001, it has the old style crankshaft impulse wheel, which means it's symmetrical. It does not have an inside and outside. It's, as you can see, perfectly symmetrical. So it doesn't matter which way this one goes on. The later versions, which are called the AP2 if I'm not wrong, these are not symmetrical and these need to be installed the correct way. Same goes for the camshaft indication gears as well. They can't be intermixed. In and out is the same and symmetrical. So we're just gonna put this back on the crankshaft and continue our assembly. We did, however, a slight change to the timing at the camshafts because that was not correct.
Good morning, all. We are one day later. It was 2 o'clock at night when I got home. If I say I'm working on this car, I am working on this car. I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys a little bit more about what the plan is of this car and what is going to happen. Now, the fault code of the crankshaft sensor is gone because we rewired that all the way to the ECU. The timing is right, so that issue is solved as well. So the engine should run perfectly for the first time in like 4 years, but for that experience, we're gonna have to assemble the engine back together. I'm so hyped about that. Just the thought alone makes me happy. I was talking about the rust on this car as well. In my opinion, this car has a lot of rust. A lot of people say like, Anke, it's really not that much, you shouldn't bother. But it is definitely something that has to be looked after because otherwise it will be an even bigger disaster, and that is something I want to prevent. So when the engine is assembled back together, we're gonna take a look at the rust and see what we can do, what we can fix, what I have to buy new. If it seems fun to you guys, I'm gonna take you through that process as well, because that might be something very interesting to see. And when the rust is gone, we're gonna take the car to the inspection and see what the paper gives, because obviously we're not gonna get a green card, but then we can check the points on the red card to see what still has to be done, go back to the inspection and get the car on the road, which means I will have my E46 M3 on the road, my Honda S2K on the road, E36 white body on the road, and then my Suzuki Samurai, who has like still quite a lot of work, but like we're not looking at that right now. My main focus is now the S2000 and the E46 M3 and the E36, because a lot of cars takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. So yeah, it's not a one-man job, it's not a one-day job, it's not an overnight build. So anyhow, just wanted to tell you guys that. I hope I'm showing you everything you want to see because I'm really trying my best to show everything in detail. The thing is, if I get at the Honda, it's already evening tonight, so I'm really tired and I tend to forget some things. So I'm sorry about that if that is happening, but I'm trying my best to put this chaos together in one video. So yeah, this is basically everything I still wanted to say, and I want to thank you for watching this video. If you are not following me on my Instagram, this is my Instagram and this is my TikTok, just in case you're interested in that. And yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for supporting me throughout this journey. We are almost at 13,000 subscribers. So the family is growing. I'm very happy about that. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you all for watching and I hope I see you in my next video. Ciao. Ja, ben alles weer vergeten. We cannot, what can we not?
The timing is
Make America great again. Mijn Engels zit alweer in hier. But. Pipi. We zijn alweer op 3. Soms zeg ik zo'n woord niet en het past niet in mijn mond.
With metal cookie?
I don't want metal cookie. You're doing a great job.
It's nice.
It's very nice.
So.
Yeah, I think so. Ik stop maar lang. Ik heb dat soms ook uit de serial killer. Dus het is allemaal oké. So remember how I was talking about earlier about I didn't have that. I'm not British, am I? Wow. Mama, we stoppen te kiezen naar mezelf nog niet. Ik ben dat boeit eigenlijk niemand. See, my English not working when camera is on, eh? Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Had nu ontploft, hè? Dat is wel een probleem.